JT, but you could call me Nick, and that's right, we are back. And we are playing some more Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair. And that's right, we are, we're doing the class trial. We are up to the class trial number 3, so let's go.
Now then, let's begin with a simple...
But Nagito's not alone. I don't really get it either.
So Nekomaru isn't here, which I think
You're
is
fine.
very unfair.
Your head's empty anyway.
Empty head?
This is a strange...
What's wrong with that? Listen up! The emptier your head, the more dreams you can stuff inside it, you know?
Look at her boobs there, they're coming out of her chest.
Anyway, we shouldn't proceed with the trial if those two can't participate in the arguments. Since he's the first witness, why don't we ask Hajime to explain the incident and the sequence of events?
Then, let's start with when we split into the hospital team. The hospital team consisted of Nagito, Ibuki, and Akane, who were—
The other 5 in the motel team were myself, Gundam, Kazuichi, Chiaki, and Hyoko.
Spending the night at the hospital was prohibited, so Hajime and I had to sleep at our cottages.
I woke up at my cottage on the day the incident happened. Mikan came by to wake me up and told me that Nagito had recovered from his symptoms. We immediately headed over to the hospital, and after we confirmed his recovery, I made Mikan rest in the on-call room, since she hadn't slept all night, while I waited in the hospital lobby. And then, I saw the incoming signal light on the surveillance camera blinking before our scheduled time. When I pressed the button to turn on the monitor, what appeared on screen was a video of someone wearing a hospital gown and a hemp bag on their head, climbing a stepladder.
Amazing! That's such a heart-pounding story! And then what did you do, Hajime?
I tried to stop them, of course. I rushed out of the hospital and ran to where the video was being recorded, the music venue. But it was too late. By the time I arrived, the person wearing the hemp bag on their head was already hanging from the ceiling.
Yep, which was...
I thought I should tell the others right away, so I headed to the motel.
Why the motel?
Because it was close to the music venue, and unlike the hospital, there were more able-bodied people there. At least, that's what I thought. But the only person who came with me was Chiaki.
But I remember feeling a little relieved because not long after, we met up with Mikan and Fuyuhiko.
We were also looking for Ibuki since she disappeared from—
After I rested for a bit, I started counting everyone at the hospital. And then, I noticed Ibuki was gone. So, I sprinted out of the hospital. Coincidentally, I ran into Fuyuhiko. So I pled with him in various ways to see if he could help me out.
What type of ways?
Various ways?
Don't say it like that and confuse people.
After I heard from those two that Ibuki disappeared, I had a feeling she was the person wearing the hemp bag. So I immediately led them to the music venue.
But the door wouldn't open. Since we had no other option, the 4 of us broke down the door. And when that happened, we didn't just find Ibuki's body. We also found Hyoko's, and not just that. Her body was taped to a pillar.
That's when we heard the body discovery announcement. Not once, but twice in a row.
And so, we decided to lower the hanged body, didn't we?
When we removed the hemp bag, just as we feared, it was Ibuki.
So that's how the case played out. Thank you. I understood it very easily.
Well, it's clear what the problem with this case is. When Hajime left the music venue, who—
Wait, how do I know anything Hajime just said is true?
Oh no.
Sorry, I'm only being impartial right now. And the story I just heard is clearly suspicious. Hajime, if you're the only one who saw the hanging video, and the first one to discover Ibuki's body, then you could be lying as much as you want right now, right?
Lie? Why would I lie?
Obviously. So you could make us ignore what might be an inconvenient truth for you.
Do you doubt me?
If you're not lying, I would like you to prove it. Come on, try to prove it to me. Prove you're not the killer.
Oh, you piece of crap. Oh, so it's live.
Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
If Hajime's testimony is a lie, And the fact that Ibuki hung herself.
That would also be a lie.
I don't think I can. After all,
Why would Hajime lie?
Well, obviously,
Did Hajime...
the fact that the bodies were means it probably is Hajime's fault. Hajime's testimony is clearly...
If Hajime's testimony is a lie, then the fact that Ibuki...
That would also be a...
I don't think I can deny. After all, Hajime is the only witness.
Why would Hajime lie?
Well, obviously,
Did Hajime kill...
the fact that the bodies were imitating the movie means it probably is Hajime's fault. Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
If Hajime's testimony is a lie, then the fact that Ibuki hung herself...
That would also...
I don't think I can. After all, Hajime is the only witness.
Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
If Hajime's... then the fact that Ibuki...
That would also...
I don't think I can. After all, Hajime is the only witness.
Hajime's testimony...
Hajime's... then the fact that Ibuki...
That would also...
I don't think I can. After all,
Why would Hajime...
Well, obviously,
Did Hajime kill...
the fact that the bodies were imitating the movie.
Not crap now.
Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
If Hajime's testimony is a lie, then...
That would also be a lie.
I don't think I can deny that possibility. After all, Hajime is the only witness.
Why would Hajime lie?
Well, obviously, because he's the killer.
Did Hajime kill both of them?
The fact that the bodies were imitating the movie means it probably is Hajime's fault. Hajime's testimony...
If Hajime's... then the fact that Ibuki...
That would also...
I don't think I can. After all,
Why would Hajime...
Well, obviously,
Did Hajime...
the fact that the means it probably is
I
Hajime's
missed
fault.
it. Keep missing it, damn it.
Hajime's testimony...
If Hajime's... then the fact that Ibuki...
That would also...
I don't think I can. After all,
Why would Hajime lie?
Well, obviously, because he's the...
Did Hajime kill both...
The fact that the bodies were imitating the... No, that's wrong! I'm not the killer! I mean, there's no way I'd be able to imitate that movie.
Of course you're not. I already knew that.
Huh?
Before the incident, Hajime had never watched that movie. His invitation ticket is proof of that. Each person only received one ticket, and they're marked with a stamp that shows the date and time. Isn't that right, Monokuma?
Yes, no mistakes there.
Which means there's no way Hajime, who never saw the movie, could commit murders that imitated it. Or did anyone tell him what happens in the movie?
No.
Hold on a sec! You're the one who brought this up in the first place!
Alright.
Nagito, what are you doing?
Well, since we're opening with your witness testimony, I thought we should solidify the foundation and also provide a good warm-up.
What warm-up? This isn't a game, you know.
Yeah, it is.
Don't get mad. I just think warming up is really important, especially since this isn't a game.
What a waste of time. Well, I knew it would turn out like this anyway.
Now then, since we know Hajime's testimony is reliable, let us move on to the arguments.
So this means Ibuki definitely climbed the stepladder all by herself, right?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Then that seals it! Ibuki committed suicide!
If Ibuki committed suicide, then who killed Hiyoko?
A murder coincidentally occurring in the same place as a suicide ain't possible, huh?
like I said before, it's pretty clear what the problem with this case is. The killer murdered Hiyoko while Hajime was gone. So all we gotta do is establish who could have possibly done that.
Then let's ask Hajime. How long would you say you were away from the music venue?
I couldn't have been gone for more than 10 minutes.
So they killed Hiyoko and taped her up within 10 minutes? There's no way that's possible.
That's why the killer stalled for time by making the music venue a closed room.
What do you mean, a closed room?
The killer blocked the venue door from the inside to try and keep us from entering right away.
However, that door is the only entrance to the music venue, right? If they blocked the door from the inside, the killer would not have been able to leave either.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Which means, when we broke down the venue door, the killer was still inside.
They were?
If that's the case, the only suspicious people are those who don't have an alibi for that time. And that's you two! Sonia and Kazuichi!
Me too?
What the hell? Why's it gotta be us?
The others all have alibis. Chiaki, Nikon, Hajime, and I all broke down the venue door together. Gundam met up with Hajime at the motel right before that. And if Akane and Nagito were laid up in the hospital, the only person that leaves is one of you.
There's another person who doesn't have an alibi. You know, Nekomaru.
Yeah, but he's not.
Me too!
What?
Hey, why are you talking like... Huh? You're kidding, right? You're not up to something weird, are you?
Please stop making bad jokes.
Anyway, if the killer was hiding inside the venue, we should obviously doubt the people who don't have alibis.
What a wicked way of backing us into a wall! Is this his professional skill?
The killer was still inside the music by locking the door from the inside. They tried to keep us from getting in.
It seems they were trying to stop.
How did they lock the door? That door should not have had a...
The lock was on the floor in front.
Are you talking about the broken drumstick?
The killer was still inside the music by locking the door from the inside.
Maybe they.
No, that's
yeah,
wrong.
because they have to think maybe they put it in from the outside.
Wait a second. There's also a possibility that the door was locked from the outside.
From the outside? How?
There was a semi-transparent glob stuck to the venue door. Maybe that's what they used.
Semi-transparent glob? Like rubber, maybe?
It goes change balls.
I see!
That semi-transparent glob must have been glue.
Glue?
What sort of glue is
Yeah,
great?
I think so too. It had a firm, gel-like chewiness. And I could smell workshop chemicals the moment I put it in my mouth. Based on all that, I'm certain it was glue.
I didn't know glue was edible.
I believe it is not something one typically eats.
That glue was only applied to the areas where both doors touched. By pouring it in the gaps of the closed door, they must have sealed the venue door from the outside.
And thanks to that, a glob of glue was left where the door was stuck. Yep, it fits perfectly.
But if you just stick them together with glue, you'd be able to break down the door easily, you know?
That doesn't really matter. The killer only did that to make us think the door was locked from the inside.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
First of all, didn't that drumstick we found seem really obvious? Almost unnaturally so? It was so obvious that it makes more sense to think the killer placed it as a diversion.
Are you saying the drumstick was a trap
Why are you
the killer
sweating?
set on purpose? Then I totally fell for that fucking trap.
Apologize to Miss Sonia and me. However, you're not allowed to slice open your stomach this time.
In a quarrel, both sides are to blame. That's why it's better
so
to just
bright,
have no
Jesus.
sides at all.
So, during the 10 minutes Hajime left the venue, the killer murdered Hiyoko and created a closed space?
And they also taped her up after killing her, right?
Even quick work has limits.
Oh, what unimaginable speed for a slowpoke like me.
What?
If they couldn't have done it while Hajime was away from the venue,
But when Hajime got to the venue, only Ibuki's body was there, right?
and when you went back with everyone
Unless
else,
they lower down here.
Hiyoko's body was there too, right? But it's possible that the body was just revealed at that time, when Hiyoko was actually killed earlier.
Just reveal?
Of course, the body wasn't revealed on its own. The killer did that too. Here, I have proof.
Yes, this was the
That scrap of paper. Is that what we found in the baton lighting at the music venue?
That's right, but just what is this scrap anyway?
Oh no, Hangman's Gambit. love class trials in this game. They're long, but they're really good. I think it's the thing that comes down. I don't know what it's called. Oh no.
Part of the wallpaper in the storage room? In the music venue storage room, there should have been black wallpaper that's the same color as that scrap. There was also a tear along the edge of the wallpaper, wasn't there?
You're right. You overlay the scrap that was caught on the lighting with the tear in the wallpaper. See? It fits perfectly.
I see. So the scrap that was caught on the baton lighting was originally part of the wallpaper.
And what's wrong with that? Does it have something to do with Hiyoko's body disappearing?
A mere nobody like me isn't important enough to answer that. But if you guys were exceptional enough to identify that scrap of paper, you can figure this out easily.
Logic dive, let's go. I love logic dive, I love it, it's my favorite. It's my favorite, I love it. It's my favorite, my favorite, my favorite, my favorite, my favorite. Slowing down there. Oh, that was... Sorry. I love logic dive. It's the best. It's the best minigame ever. What? How am I supposed to get there? What? Oh, I need to speed up. These jungles, baby. Right, question. Oh, no question, or I just have to avoid everything? Alright, easy enough. I found the question. Why did Hiyoko's body suddenly appear at the crime scene and support there? It was hidden 100%. test out that theory. Yes, I'm gonna test out that theory. Okay, at the checklist. How did the killer hide the body? That's right. Yes. All those questions were right. It wasn't a clean sweep, but that was awesome. That was really good. That was really good.
It's all coming together!
Yes.
Got it! Hyoko's body was hidden before we found it.
But it would have taken quite a long time to tape up a hidden body.
No, the body was already taped up and the killer hid it, along with the pillar using the wallpaper.
What? Fake?
Yeah, by wrapping the wallpaper around the pillar, the killer was able to create a slightly larger pillar. So when I first discovered Ibuki's body, Hyoko's body was already there. However, because it was concealed within a slightly larger...
Well, that's understandable. I mean, it makes sense that you'd notice Ibuki's body right away.
So they used the baton lighting on the ceiling to hang the wallpaper?
The baton lighting forms a perfect circle around the pillar, so using it to hang the wallpaper totally fits.
Then, the reason the wallpaper was covered in so many stickers was to make it look like that pillar.
That's how they hid Hyoko's body, and then peeled off the wallpaper as soon as I left the music room.
But the killer made a mistake. They accidentally ripped off a piece of the wallpaper. And because of that, a scrap was left on the baton lighting.
The killer must have been in a hurry. Their plan took too long. Hajime could have walked in on it.
But going to the trouble of hiding the body and the pillar is very cold and risky.
The crime itself would be much easier to pull off since they don't have much to do while Hajime's gone. They just have to peel off that wallpaper and stash it in the storage room. It's not that big of a deal.
Then, when was Hyoko actually killed?
Good point. And on that note, it's about time we shed some light on those imitation murders.
You mentioned imitation murder more than once. But what is that?
Are you kidding me? You haven't seen my masterpiece? The Wizard of Monami 2.5D?
Hey! Don't put my likeness in your movies without my permission.
You're pretty noisy. For someone who eats mothballs.
I don't eat mothballs. I just enjoy looking at them. I knew it. There are so many similarities. It must have been intentional.
Ibuki's death by hanging matches the Scarecrow's death from the movie.
Yep.
Not just that, but Hyoko getting taped up after her death matches the lion's death.
Alright guys, I'm gonna end the video here. So
It's as if both crimes were
See you guys
replicas.
in the next Danganronpa 2 video. Bye bye.